Okay. So when it comes to creating a dashboard, we need to first of all understand the purpose for that dashboard, who is going to use it, what's going to happen by looking at those key indicators on that dashboard, and it start with understanding why we want to create it, who is going to use it, and what is expected after looking at that dashboard. So if we start measuring something like, how many stories have been completed, or how many, story points have been completed in an iteration, right? And
Yeah,
start comparing one team with another and questioning them why your velocity is less than another team, then you will see different behavior where people will just jump up story points and then put more focus towards, maintaining two-story point as a five-story point and then fool the system. So we need to understand, take a step back, understand what's the purpose, what kind of behavior we want within the group or within a team, and then identify which things you want to capture on dashboard. So one thing I can share, while working in one organization, there was initially focus was more on understanding whether status is, typically in waterfall you have got that drag status, right? Red, amber, and green.
yeah,
And similar to, what you see in waterfall model, all the time team members used to put everything in green, and only at the last minute they used to call it as a red. So jumping from one state to another, and it goes with the analogy of watermelon, wherein everything is green from outside. When you go deeper, you find out that it's a red. So
yeah,
if you want to have those dashboard in order to have right kind of behaviors and discussion points, you need to identify what needs to be captured there. So what we did, rather than looking at the accuracy and how many story points have been delivered, whether team members were able to deliver 95%, 80% of what committed, we shifted focus towards throughput. So number of items finished in last month. We shifted focus towards business value realization. So rather than just focusing on team members, we asked product owner to come back and report that, okay, in last month, if we have delivered certain stories or features, and we expected 10%, decrease in call volume, or 20% increase in revenue, or 30% increase in average call handling time, are we actually seeing those changes? So discussions shifted from, whether we are accurate in estimating, whether we are going fast, towards whether we are actually making that impact and, able to deliver those values to customer. So it all goes back towards what you want to measure and what's the purpose. So yeah.
Yeah, true, true. It's very tricky, right? Because even for to continue with the example, right? Even the metrics like velocity, even a commitment rate, they're quite important for the team.
Yeah.
Um, but they're very important when the team themselves capture those metrics and they assess it for the continuous improvement purposes to understand where they want to improve as a team. But the minute those metrics are they are tracked by senior management or someone else, they become problematic. So I think the dashboards can be at a two different level. One, how would a senior management want to look at the things,
Hmm.
and how would teams themselves want to start capturing those metrics? So I think, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
do agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. What's your experience so far, Raymond? What was your point when you pop up this topic for discussion?
well, I'm now using Azure DevOps,
Mm-hmm.
and it's now we are using it for several sprints now. And now the next level is okay, creating dashboards. What is the team doing? How they are making progress, and what are then the metrics then we can that I can use to discuss with the team, indeed, in seeing from another perspective the progress of their work. And I can come up with a burn down chart, perhaps also a burn up chart,
Yeah.
perhaps a velocity chart or um, workload charts. So that's my thinking now. And
Any particular software you're using to track the work?
Azure DevOps.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, so there are few universal or generic metrics which we can use to track teams' performance and overall, group's performance. Rather than, quite often, people just focus on whether teams are able to deliver with right kind of accuracy, a lot of things, rather than understanding whether we are delivering impact to the customer or delivering right kind of value to the customer.
yeah.
So usually there are three angles which I consider. First one is, are we building right thing? And that comes from the validation and feedback from the customer or business stakeholders during showcase, right? So if you have got certain goals which needs to be met in last sprint or iteration, you can just ask, okay, if we have got three things to be achieved and business has already, or product owner has already given certain weightage to each of those, similar to what's done in SAFE, which is for the team level objectives. You can, after the showcase or demo, you can ask business stakeholders, product owners, and potential customers, out of 10, how many score, how much score do you give, and then commit something which talks in terms of what value business think they have got. So that's one thing. So perceived or potential deliverable value. Second thing is, when it comes to identifying whether we have delivered right thing, you can always ask product owners and business stakeholders to come back and validate whether we have delivered what we perceive to be delivered by looking at the current trend or business operational metrics or current trend in the market. So that's the first bucket. Have we built right thing? Second bucket is, are we building things right? So building things right means not having a lot of defects, not having a lot of gaps when it comes to meeting customers' expectation. You can look at incidents in post deployment in the production. You can look at are we able to deliver things faster? So if you focus on automation, and I'm talking in technical teams, so you can find out, again going back to, are we able to continuously integrate? How much percentage code coverage is there when we talk about unit testing? Are we able to implement any of those best engineering practices like TDD, BDD? And if yes, what percentage coverage is there? uh, when it comes to defect resolution, how long we take it? So mean time to recover if something has broken, how long we take it? So
Yeah.
we can work with the team and identify those key technical metrics which team members want to track. uh, and third thing is about, are we able to deliver things faster? So from customers point of view, you might want to focus on lead time, so right from the idea has been generated till the time that has been delivered to customer, so concept to cash. You can identify for all those things which have been committed in a backlog, till the time it's delivered to customer, how long it has taken. And you, rather than, one thing to be kept in mind, you might try to look at the trend rather than looking at point in time information. Because if you have got two teams, let's say one team is able to deliver 20 items, another team is also able to deliver 20 items, right? If you look at those two teams in isolation, you might think that both teams are doing probably equally
Yeah.
right, if we assume that all items take 3 days, just hypothetically. But if you look at the trend, team A might have delivered 10, then 15, 18, and now 20, so trend might be upward. Whereas team B might have delivered earlier 30 stories, then 25, and now 20, so their trend might be downward, right? So when you look at the trend, you'll be able to understand whether those teams are improving or actually deteriorating when it comes to delivering value. So uh, probably what you need to do is that, are we able to deliver things faster? Are we able to deliver right things and getting those business values? And are we building things right by having less defects, by having less percentage of incident, by understanding whether we have got all those built-in quality practices like TDD, unit testing, so on and so forth in place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's worth, just a small note from my side. It's worth focusing on certain handful of metrics rather than
Yeah.
tracking whole set of metrics at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Only a few. A few. Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. Yeah. Not
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah, because yeah,
not
that
everything has to be captured with metrics or.
yeah, and that's
Mm.
really good point, because what happened, if you have got too many metrics, team members also get confused. And one thing to be realized is that metrics have got its own time span. So today you might want to capture one metric to take you from one stage to another. Tomorrow probably that metric is mature. So once you have got, let's say,
Okay.
100% test code coverage or 100% automation, there's no point in focusing too much on that particular area. Now you might want to find a different way. You might want to look at the slicing of work. and find out whether we are not having too many big stories, big functionalities. So matrix needs to be again revisited and changed based on how that team is maturing. But roughly speaking, you can ask team members to identify metrics in three categories if you want: quality, time to market, and then stakeholder satisfaction. So, stakeholder satisfaction talks about whether customers are happy, business stakeholders are happy with the way we are delivering things. Another thing will be time to market, is all about are we able to deliver things as quick as possible, by looking at lead time and other things. And quality will be ensured through those production incidents, automated test code coverage, so on and so forth.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, makes sense. That's also a good point. Only a few metrics, not building a dashboard for 10, 20 items, looking at the same data on a different side. So I think that's a really good add-on. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And it should come from the team. So probably front end application team, mobile development application team might have different metrics, again tying to the same category, compared to someone who is working on a mainframe or a backend system, right, wherein cycle time is too big. So rather than generalizing and comparing things, microservices team might be able to deliver changes every day. But if you look at the mainframe and CRM systems, it doesn't economically make sense to deploy changes every day, right? So for them, it might be once a fortnight change rather than every day.
Yeah, thank you. Good point.